When you think about developing and building an AI agent, maybe vibe coding and code generation and all the tools and technologies that's required to actually build the capability is front of mind. But I'm going to share today three key practices in data, DevOps, and user experience that are fundamental for using AI to drive innovation. Hi, I'm Isaac Sacolick. I'm the president of Star CIO. I have over 1,200 articles written around digital transformation and AI. And today we're going to go through in about 12 minutes, three key areas that you need to focus on if you're thinking about deploying or even building AI agents. So if you're deploying or even building AI agents, you're going to be thinking about the underlying data that fuels that AI's intelligence. And when I think about using enterprise data in my agents, I'm going to be thinking about data governance, data security, but in particular, when I think about user experiences, I'm going to think about data privacy. It's a topic we covered at a recent Coffee with Digital Trailblazers, and I shared this really important set of statistics from SAS on marketers and using AI. High confidence in using their data. They have dedicated AI budget, but only a very few number, 8%, are confident in their AI governance practices, and 45% of agentic AI adopters identify data privacy concerns. IT equally concerned around data privacy, 46% are extremely worried. And Stinson report just the number of online privacy lawsuits that have increased. Again, we covered this at a recent Coffee with Digital Trailblazers, and I wrote a blog post around this that covered it. Three insights in that that you'll get from that particular article. Number one, inside enterprises, data privacy is everybody's concern. It's not just the CDO or your head of privacy or your CISO's concerned. Everybody has to be actively participating in it. Number two, the AI governance, the policies around data privacy for AI are lagging. All the experimentation people are doing. So that's why IT is scared about the shadow AI. And number three, implementation's even lagging behind that. How do we ensure that the data that's being fed from our repositories into AI models or into AI agents and ensuring privacy isn't compromised is lagging in implementation. So three areas to focus on around data privacy. And again, data privacy, one of the key areas I would be thinking about and investing in before deploying AI agents. I'm going to go into the next one. So data is the front end for your ability to build trustworthy AI agents. The back end is QA and testing. And I know DevOps is all about the dev side and the ops side, but sitting in between those two is the ability to make sure that what you're deploying is high quality, it's reliable, it's trustworthy. And the AI, age of AI, it needs to be doing much better job of being able to validate an AI's non-deterministic results. Now, I have some data here from Perforce. It just came out on the state of DevOps in 2026, and they gave me two sides of an equation that I wasn't happy with. 77% are confident in AI outputs, but they're not doing the basics when it comes to testing. 52% report secure coding practices in CI/CD pipelines. That means 48% don't have it. 39% have fully automated audit trails. That means another 70%, 60% don't, and only 28% track defect escape rates, which is crazy to me. Okay, so when I think about deploying AI agents, I actually want a much stronger quality assurance department because, especially around user experience agents, are the agents behaving the way that I need to do? And what does testing need to look like in this area of AI where we have non-deterministic outputs? I can't just do unit testing around what the inputs and outputs look like. Again, we covered this at a recent Coffee with Digital Trailblazers. What is QA's new mission? And I have a bunch of blog posts around this, a bunch of articles that I've done going back into the old days about what DevOps QA looked like. It was very app-centric. We went from manual to continuous testing. We focused on, does it look like the designer asked us to do, all the way to brand testing. We started with performance testing and we went all the way to, can we actually validate reliability before we deploy through areas like observability? And then we started adding security testing into our pipeline. So that was DevOps QA, really the last decade. I think we're moving into this next gen, this new area of mission for QA. That's about data readiness. I've done some articles around that. Is your data even ready to build an AI agent? Overall risk management, and then validating the AI accuracy. And again, we covered those 3 data points at the Coffee with Digital Trailblazers. So if you're in QA or risk management or in testing, you should really look at those. And let's now move on to the third area that I think is really important around AI. We started data in the front end. We went to QA in the back end. Here comes the middle area that's really important. You see all these links that I have in here, all this data that I have in here. If you want access to this data, do sign up for my newsletter. You can do that at startcio.com/DDS-89, and you're going to get access to a web page that has all these links on them. All right, so let's move to this middle area. Now, sitting in the middle, you got data on one side, you got testing on the other side. In the middle is the actual user experience. Before we get to anything that we can really call agentic AI, we're going to be implementing AI agents with human in the middle. And if you ask my opinion, we're going to have a lot of that going on for a very long period of time. When I think about AI in user experiences, one of the things I said earlier this year in my predictions for 2026 is that AI is going to have its Uber or Airbnb moment. We're going to see something in the B2C user experience space that's going to show us what an AI agent in the user experience looks like. And so I went looking for some examples around this. I found Marriott Homes and Villas, a website that has the ability to search based on attributes that you're looking for. I want to be in a certain type of location at a certain type of year, and it comes back and shows you properties that you can go rent. There's some data around AI and the state of consumer AI that I'm sharing some links around. You can go test out Perplexity's and Amazon's retail shop of the future that are based on generic AI. And if you want to see it on the software side, on the B2B side, you could see the types of AI agents that software companies are putting into their platforms. Okay, so we're on the cusp of AI and user experiences, but we really haven't seen it. Most of what we call AI agents today are largely in back office functions. And so I have a hypothesis why this is. Okay, what is in the middle for us to get accelerating into the AI user experience area? And so during the Coffee with Digital Trailblazers, I actually shared this slide where we looked at how technology transitions went to scale. There was an underlying practice that helped us do that. So we had websites and media and shopping in the late 1990s into 2000. What really scaled that was our ability to do web development, agile development instead of waterfall practices, our ability to use search indexes instead of databases. And once those fell into play, we started seeing lots of websites and e-commerce sites come up. When cloud computing first came out, it was like buying compute with a credit card. And so we're just getting infrastructure from a different provisioning and setup process. What really made it scale was DevOps, the ability to deploy in an automated way, the ability to set up infrastructure with infrastructure as code, all the scaling that we were able to do within these cloud environments. So cloud computing needed the automation for it to be able to scale. When I think about mobile user experience, we had to transition from that Web 1.0 thinking of building mobile sites that mimicked our websites, and we started applying design thinking, mobile user experiences first, and that's what really gave birth to the Airbnb and Uber moments. Now, what's going to happen with Gen and AI agents and customer experiences is that we haven't identified that set of practices that's going to help it scale, right? Where is it going to be applied so that we start seeing it actual in user experiences? And I'm going to give you, again, 2 of them that I think are very big parts of that. I'm going to have other driving digital stand-ups to complement this one, but 2 of them are around data privacy. I need to be able to trust the data that's going in front of my consumers. Otherwise, there's a huge risk around that. And the second area is the ability to do validation and testing at scale when we have non-deterministic inputs coming from AI inputs and prompts and through agents. So those are the 3 areas that I think are most important as you're thinking about deploying and developing AI agents. So let's recap. If you are developing, deploying AI agents, particularly around user and customer experiences, you're going to have a lot of people afraid around data privacy concerns. What happens when actual customers start using these AI agents or other models that use your underlying data. Data privacy isn't all leadership responsibility. It's not something that you're just going to leave to your privacy officer. So get involved as a digital trailblazer around their data privacy controls before you start importing that data into your AI agents. Second, I don't understand how you can think about deploying an AI agent without some ability to test it. The underlying models are changing. Your automations are going to change. You have to be able to do repetitive testing around this and have a release readiness checklist. I also wrote some articles around building that list up. So if you think about we're getting more efficient in our ability to build, we have to get also smarter in our ability to test. Third area is around preparing for AI and user experiences. I predicted we're going to see the Uber and Airbnb moment, and that means being able and being ready to deploy AI agents in your user experiences. Focusing on data and testing are two of the 5 key elements that I think are really important, and I'll cover the other 3 in a future Driving Digital Stand-Up. If you want to learn more about my contributions, network with my community of digital trailblazers, do visit us at drive.starcio.com/community. Nice community for you to interact and get expertise from other digital trailblazers. And then if you want all the links from this research, from my writing that I shared in this particular video, do sign up at starcio.com/DDS-89. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time.